Brought to you by Kellogg's, the folks who give you the widest choice of cereals in the whole wide world. All the great grains in the forms you like best. Yours from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of Broadway's hit show, Once More with Feeling, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now it is a genuine honor for me to introduce to you our international ambassador of goodwill without portfolio, and even more important perhaps to all of us and to him, his hand, which is certainly our good fortune, is rapidly recovering, and God willing, he will be once more enlivening the keyboard in June in Paris. Mr. Van Cliburn.
And on my left is the syndicated and scintillating Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Another ambassador of goodwill is about to sit on my left. He's going to do his ambassadoring in the Midwest in so many places that I can't name them all because time wouldn't permit, but he's looking forward to his lecture tour. Bennett, Cerf.
Van, we're very proud to have you with us tonight. And I don't know how many of you know it. Most of you do, I guess, but our MC also is connected with music. He is the MC of the Firestone Show, one of the best shows on the air. And if it's going to stay on the air, it's because enough people are going to write in and say, we want to keep this program. And here he is now to run What's My Line, John Charles Daly.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. We have a very fine selection of difficult occupations for the panel tonight, I'm pleased to say, and some very interesting and nice people who brought them to the theater. We think that we'll give the panel a rather rough night of it. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the show. We'll meet our first challenger after this. Our first contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please? Tito? Now, wait a minute. Tito, where are you from?
Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico.
Guadalajara?
Yeah.
In Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Nice of you to come all the way to New York to see us.
Thank you.
Mr. Gaona, this is the panel. Panel, Mr. Gaona, will you join me over here, please? All right, you climb up there on all that large number of cushions, and we'll be at about the same height. Can you make it? Do you know how we keep score, Tito?
Yep.
You do? All right, then let's let the folks at home and those who are here in the audience know exactly what your line is, all right? All right. All right, panel. We'll give you the usual bit of help. Master Gaona is salaried, and we'll begin the general questioning with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Is it all right if I call you Tito?
Yes.
Thank you, because I'm afraid I'll mispronounce the other one. Tito, do people ever watch you when you do what you do?
Yes.
Do you have anything to do with the world of entertainment?
Yes.
Are you in any way connected with music?
Nope.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
I thought he was, too. Tito, are you, does the work that you do, that people watch, require any kind of physical dexterity?
Yes.
Would it be possibly, are you part of an act? Do you appear with other people?
Yes.
Could it possibly have be the kind of an act that would be seen in a circus or a carnival?
Yes.
Are you in a circus?
Yes.
Are you in the Barnum and Bailey circus?
Yes.
Are you in the Barnum and Bailey circus?
Yes.
In the Barnum and Bailey circus?
No.
Well,
That's
Ringling.
exactly
well, now,
right.
wait a
Thank you
minute.
very much. 2 down and 8 to go. Bennett, I never had such a tough time getting a no answer up for you in my life. Miss Francis.
You meant Ringling.
Well, sure.
Of course he meant that. But you are a performer in the circus, are you, Senor Tito?
Yes.
Are you ever on with a team of acrobats?
No.
No?
That makes it 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cliburn.
Well, do you have anything to do with the different show horses?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you do what you do without being in contact with animals?
No.
Do you do what you do without being in contact with animals?
Yes.
You work just with people, in other words.
Yes.
Do you ever get off the ground?
Yes.
Do you get very high off the ground?
Yes.
Do you ever swing through the air?
Yes.
Are you part of a trapeze act?
Yes.
That's what he is, the flying trapeze act. And now, Arlene, I think we should... What circus is Tito with?
I thought it was the Ringling North Circus that is here now. Is that correct?
No, that
No,
means
thanks a
no,
lot.
so we'll flip the rest of the cards.
Palisades, the one over at Palisades Park.
Palisades Park, the Clyde Beatty.
Beatty.
Yes.
Yes, Clyde Beatty. This is a...
I thought that was also considered acrobatics, the high wire. It's not.
No, it's a very fine point, and actually I was a little bit concerned when I had to give the no to
As long as
acrobat
you were
that it might
concerned,
trace
that's
you...
all I care
Oh,
about.
I was terribly
No.
concerned. I could hardly breathe there for a minute. Tito, suppose you tell us how old you are.
10 years.
He's 10 years old, and it's incredible.
I thought he was 40.
Well, I must say
Just
you
what
have
does
the...
Tito do, John?
Beg pardon?
Just exactly what do you do in the act?
Flying trapeze. Over at the Cliburn Colbus Combined
And you
Circus.
fly and turn somersaults in the air,
Yes.
and they catch you?
Yep.
Do you work with your mother and father, Tito?
No, with my brothers.
He does a full somersault at 55 feet at age 10. And I might say this, that you have the presence and the manners of a young gentleman of 40. And you're to be congratulated, Tito. It's been lovely to have you with us. And lots of luck with your career. All right, panel, very good. I must say that you started out brilliantly, but see if we can't trip you up now. Will our next contestant come in and sign in, please? Peggy? Kufos, is that right? Is it Miss or Mrs.? Mrs. Kufos. And where are you from?
Teaneck, New Jersey.
Teaneck, New Jersey. Fine. Mrs. Kufos, the panel. Mrs. Kufos, will you join me over here, please? And are you familiar with the way we keep score?
Yes.
All right, then let's let the folks in the audience here and those at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel. Mrs. Kufos is also salaried. And let's begin the general questioning with Miss Arlene Francis.
Mrs. Kufos, do you work indoors?
Yes.
Do you do something that has nothing to do with the fact that you are so attractive?
Yes.
Do you require special training in your work?
Yes.
Would you consider that your kind of work is the kind of work that many men also do?
Could be.
Could be. Should one have a degree for the sort of work that you do? Is it more usual than
Yes.
not to have a degree for it?
Yes.
Do you have anything to do with something that has to do with the well-being of people?
Yes.
Would it be considered in any way scientific, the kind of work that you do?
Yes.
I'm doing great. I ought to quit. Do you work in a laboratory?
Yes.
Do you work with test tubes?
Yes.
I don't know what to do next. Are you, have you, just a minute. There now. Have you discovered anything that is important to the American Medical Association?
No.
One down and 9 to go, Mr.
Oh, I'm
Cliburn.
glad to be off.
Oh, you just left me in the worst predicament.
Spring is there.
She's deserted me now. Do you have something to do with the packaging of possibly a medical supply?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
There is a product involved in what you do.
Yes.
Is this product something that I probably have not got in my medicine cabinet? Would it be more likely to be something that the Army or the Navy or the Armed Forces would be familiar with than the ordinary housewife?
It's very difficult to say. Things, you know, are so quick now to move into all the streams of the social fabric that it's hard to say. I would say the Army, Navy, and the Marines would have a knowledge of this product, but then as a housewife, you might have it too.
Well, could we say that someone in the government would be more immediately concerned with its use than I would? Or more immediately able to control its use?
I would say someone in government might be more immediately able to control its use, yes.
Is it bigger than an aspirin tablet? Is it a fairly recent invention or concern?
No. 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Kupas, would this product with which you're involved possibly be used by some public utility company?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Does it have anything to do with nuclear science?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr.
What's
Cliburn.
left?
This is true.
Probably lots.
I pass.
Miss Kilgallen.
All right. Would you say that it would be unlikely that this product would be in the home of any of us here?
No. Oh!
Well,
Could we have a conference, John?
Yes, you may have 20 seconds for a
It may have something
conference.
to do with bacteria? No? Germs?
Well, it's a product.
We'll be around to you in a minute, Arlene.
All right,
Don't
I'm
quite
sorry.
know immediately. Mrs. Kupas, would this product be edible or drinkable?
Oh, yes, what?
If it goes in your mouth,
Yes.
you've got to say yes.
Bennett, I think we would do you a disservice if we were to deny that this product was not edible or drinkable.
Then it is taken internally.
No.
Well, if it's edible or drinkable, it must be taken
Well,
internally.
let us say on the premise that it is edible or drinkable, that when it is edible or drinkable and accepted as so, it could be considered to be taken internally.
Well, that follows per se, doesn't it? But it isn't always in the form in which you deal with it. I presume, then, it is not eaten or taken in liquid form. Is that right?
Yes.
Does the product, as you concede it, come in packages?
No. That's 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, I'll have to go back to this. Do you have anything whatsoever to do with bacteria?
Something.
You have something to do with it. Do you do research on this in a laboratory?
Yes.
Have you just discovered something that is rather remarkable?
No, that makes... I'm going to give you one more minute. Mr. Cliburn, you can have 10 seconds, 20 seconds for a
It
consultation.
have something to do with milk. You know,
Bennett, why would she?
well, they,
No, because that would
they-
definitely go in the mouth and is edible or potable or...
You never can tell with daily.
I think I'll take you all out of your misery and throw the towel in. Mrs. Goofos raises mice for research. And I rush to explain that Mrs. Goofos...
White mice.
Why mice? Because they use them in experiments. She's with Charles Pfizer and Company, which, as you know, is one of the big ethical drug houses in the country. And it's her mission, having taken her degree in bacteriology, to raise a strain of perfectly healthy mice. And she screens them bacteriology
that's where the bacteria
and raises.
came in,
That's
huh?
right. Screens them.
Food, that's cats you were thinking of.
Cats I was thinking of, yes. We could leave
Mrs.
that
Cat.
out now. Huh? Yes, Mrs. Cat. Thank you very much, Miss Goofus. We suck 'em, and that's a great joy to me. Nice to have had you with. And now, we'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity. The panel is blindfolded for this part of the game. Blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right, panel, as you know, at this part of the game, we just go to a different form of questioning. You ask one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin it with Bennett Cerf.
Well, if I were running this show, and what a lucky thing it is for What's My Line, I'm not, it would occur to me, with Van Cliburn on the panel, to have a guest that was also prominent in the musical field. So, just to clear the atmosphere, would you say that you are well known for your musical accomplishments?
One out of 9 to go, Miss Red.
No.
Would you be considered a leading man in pictures or the theater?
No. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cliburn.
Well, are you in government service?
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you a performer of any sort?
Yeah.
Mr. Cerf.
Are you, by any chance, not a man at all, but of the female persuasion? Yeah.
Miss Francis.
Well, obviously, you must be a comedian.
Yeah.
Mr. Cliburn.
Well, I have nothing to say. I pass.
Miss Kilgallen.
Are you currently appearing in a Broadway show?
Yeah.
Mr. Cerf.
Did you ever do a movie with Marie Chevalier? Yeah. Hermione Gingold.
Right. Presently on Broadway,
In First Impressions.
in First Impressions.
If I ever can use my voice again.
Would have been mean to keep you going. I thought you wouldn't be able to do your
Well, that
show,
was
Mark.
very thoughtful.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. I'm sorry that we didn't give them a little more trouble, but I've not seen so much puzzlement on their faces in a long, long time when they were blindfolded. And may we wish you very great success with the recovery of your voice.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you. Do I go and say goodbye to these charming people now?
I'm sure they would be muchly honored if you would. Well, panel, I must admit you've done rather well so far tonight, and we'll have another contestant after this word from our alternate sponsor. Now let's meet a final contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please? Barbara Martin, right? Miss or Mrs. Martin?
Mrs.
Mrs. Martin, and where are you from?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis. Well, nice to have you with us, Mrs. Martin. The panel. Mrs. Martin, will you join me over here, please? Tell me, are you familiar with the scoring system we use on What's My Line?
Yes, I am.
All right, then let's let the folks at home and those who are here in the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we will tell you that Mrs. Martin is self-employed. And I think perhaps we ought to begin the general questioning with Mr. Van Cliburn.
Well, if you're self-employed, would your occupation have to tend with the general public?
Yes.
Would you be in any way affected by the attitudes of the public in your occupation?
You mean specifically?
Well, specifically, would you, if you were, say, entertaining somebody, not especially with tricks or anything like that, or piano playing, but, I mean, would your occupation have something to do that would be influenced by the hospitality of a general public?
No.
No, I don't think so. 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Can both men and women enjoy your services?
Yes.
Do you work indoors more than outdoors?
Yes.
Could anyone on the panel hire you to do what you do?
Yes.
I mean, if we were in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm. And if you wanted the particular service as well, yes.
Do you take the people one at a time rather than in groups?
Do you take the people one at a time rather than groups? Do you mean is the service performed for one person at a time rather than performed for a group? I think that we have to give this answer here, no. Huh? Oh, yes, rather. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Martin, we haven't established yet whether or not you work for a profit-making organization. Do you?
Self-employed.
Yes.
Oh, self-employed.
Self-employed.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yes,
self-employed. Yes. Does the work that you do have anything to do with food and drink?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Does dexterity have anything to do with your work?
Mr. or Miss? Oh, sorry. Yes, dexterity, rather. No, I don't think so.
Strength is what I mean. Does it matter that you know?
Oh,
no.
you mean muscle.
You can give me a no without building it up.
You got it. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cliburn.
Well, what you do, would it make me happy?
Yes.
It would make me happy. Do you do Lyceum? Well, I'm sorry, I'm talking like I was in the Dark Ages, and I'm not. Do you perform before public groups on a specific instrument?
We have just run out of time. I was afraid you were going to climb right up the last minute and get it, because you see, Mrs. Martin is a piano tuner, and she's just here for you. Tunes all the pianos at the Jordan College of Music at Butler University.
Oh, no.
For instance. Yeah.
You're really a piano tuner.
Yeah, wonderful piano.
You must come and teach me how to tune my own piano, will you?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Martin. Nice of you to be our guest on What's My Line. Well, we did pretty well tonight. We stuck you twice, actually once because we ran out of time, and I'm very pleased with the whole business, and so good night, Miss Arlene Francis.
Good night, and good night, Van. And every morning, count your little fingers.
Oh,
all right.
Good night, Arlene. Good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Van. So nice to have you with us. Good night, Bennett. Have fun.
Night, John.
Good night. And by the way, we'll not be with you next Sunday because of a special hour program on CBS, so we'll see you 2 weeks from tonight at the same time. Good night, and thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Transportation for contestants on What's My Line is arranged by United Airlines. What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. This is Hal Sims speaking.